Welcome. I want to show a little bit of code that I'm really proud of. I put it in production earlier this year and I'm finally getting around to putting some context around it. It's been very successful, and I think some of the details of what I did can really help others that are trying to scale AI applications. This little piece of code here simply checks the status of the batch process. And of course, here the process is running data through an LLM. I never thought 10 years ago when I started to code that I'd need to write this sort of logic, but it's really a very core piece of code when you're trying to process a lot of data at scale through LLMs. This code snippet is part of a larger data processing pipeline and agentic system that sort of processes a lot of documents and runs them through an LLM and then joins them back with the data in sort of an enriched state. This is what the pseudocode would sort of look like. We're formatting a lot of documents before uploading them for batch processing by LLMs. And then, of course, we're checking the status so that we can quickly move to the next batch once it's completed. And we're sort of logging any sort of anomalous outputs. There's a couple key features that I think are performing really well with this little bit of code. It centralizes a lot of the monitoring logic for the batch processing and to check the batch status. It's very much non-blocking in how it checks so that other processes can be going on. It's handling all sorts of anomalous exit scenarios very gracefully. It's highly configurable. It's a nice clean point of configuration for batch processing and to check the status of the batches. And finally, it's production ready. It's seen tens of thousands of files at this point, and it's working really well. Just to quickly highlight two takeaways. First, use of batches. You're going to save about 50% on your token costs when you are using batches. And it also scales really well time-wise. Whether you're doing 50 or 1,000 records, it's usually coming back in about 10 to 15 minutes. And also make sure you're using structured outputs. Instead of doing any sort of complex string parsing, you can really handle multiple instructions and they come back in a nice structured way that you can just parse right into a dictionary. And this really makes it very smooth to integrate into downstream processes. We're all getting very used to working with ChatGPT in a browser, but it's not possible to copy and paste that much data into a chat window. That's a shovel. We need to be using a tractor. We need to be using a digger. And that's what I hope that small detail snippet that I showed today really shows about how to work with data and AI at scale. Thank you so much.